Talk about your relationship with Puma, and I know you guys are announcing and launching the Legacy program, and just why it's so important for you to, help give back to the soccer community, the youth soccer community that you were obviously a part of, and now we're in a position to, help that next generation.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this with Puma. You know, when I first started, in talks kind of with Puma, this, where I wanted to go with my brand and what I wanted to do, it was really in line with what they wanted and just growing the sport in America, especially. And they've helped me so much, whether it's with the CP collection, now building these fields, these stomping grounds, starting in Miami, and going to continue to hopefully build them in the build up, in different cities in the build up to this next World Cup. Just allowing kids, in sort of underserved communities, just, being able to have access to the game, have access to whether it's Puma, donating soccer balls, whether it's clinics, all things. It's been really great because this is one of my biggest goals, and what inspires me is to inspire the next generation. And I didn't really have that, so much growing up. And, if kids can have a little piece of that, it really brings joy to me, and hopefully, obviously just grows this game to a whole nother level in America.
Well, there goes my next question. I was going to ask, like, who were some of the players you were inspired by growing up that you were like, I want to be like this person, and, the way that they're kind of giving back and creating opportunities. But you said you didn't have that growing up. So maybe we'll go to the next one.
Well, no, I definitely had players that I looked up to. I just mean, if there was a Clint Dempsey stomping ground around my house, I'd have been there every day just because I love what he's about. He was, one of my inspirations. Obviously a lot of guys on the national team and across Europe who I looked up to for sure. But I just didn't really have access to so many, local fields where I could, go and just play, and there'd be other guys there wanting to play. It was just always other sports and other things going on.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say, you mentioned the stomping grounds and the first one in Miami, and obviously more to come, leading up to the World Cup. Where did you play? You didn't have that Dempsey, stomping ground, and we'll have to have a conversation with him about why he didn't do that. But, what was there a certain field or a park that you would go to? And, would it be friends, teammates, or you'd be out there kind of just bowling by yourself?
Yeah, so for me, one of the best memories I have is the year that I lived in England, actually, outside of our little school there. We had this little court. It was just concrete, and there were like soccer goals set up. And I was just out there with a bunch of those guys for hours after school. And I thought that was one of the most amazing things. I'd just be out there forever until it got dark, and I was forced to come home. I was out there playing. But in the U.S., ever since coming back from that, I had that for a year, and then I just never had anything like that. So it was mostly just me in my backyard with my dad. Just kicking the ball around, him crossing to me, him being goalie, and me just firing shots at him. So that was really where a lot of my training came from.
So even more important, like you said, to do what you're doing and give kids an opportunity, to have these fields and access to, balls and equipment. So, they aren't just stuck in their own backyard.
Yeah, ideally, and also just have just a bit of structure, and also other kids, in the community that they're also want to play. So that's a big thing.
Yeah. Well, what's something, obviously, I played soccer growing up, you obviously did too. You're obviously a lot more successful than I'll ever dream of being. Where are some lessons that you learned from the game, whether it was on the field, off the field, and how can that really help, this next generation through everything you're doing with Puma and the Legacy program?
Yeah, for me, sort of as cliche as it sounds, it's just like it's never giving up, because I feel like a lot of times right after some of my toughest moments and the times when I just cannot see past this horrible moment, and I think I'm never gonna get any better, and have times after that, or right after that, is when those brilliant moments happen. And I feel like I would just say, just stay focused, stay the course, because for me, that's what it's been all about. I've had some of my lowest moments, and my highest ones come right after that. So that's it, and that's the message I definitely related to those kids.
It all kind of balances out, right? Like you said, if you have a low dip and then you have an even higher high, and it just makes it feel that much better and more rewarding, I'm sure. Setting an example on and off the field, for the next generation, obviously something near and dear to your heart. I know you're coming off of your first World Cup for the U.S. national team. Just think back a couple months ago, just what was that experience like for you, to be out there and the biggest stage? I think DeAndre Yedlin was the only guy who had previous World Cup experience on the team. So it was kind of a new moment for a lot of the guys. But what was that experience like, and just kind of setting the tone, hopefully going into 26 with the World Cup coming to US?
Yeah, I mean it's one of the best experiences I've had in my life for sure. You just there's a little bit of a different feeling, just being at a World Cup, something that most of us just only dreamed about our whole lives, and you look up for you wait for moments like that. So it was really a blessing just to be out there, fighting for your country. Want something that just an experience that all of us will take, and you remember for the rest of your lives. And now, hopefully once we get back in that position in 2026, and we're at that World Cup, you just have that a little bit more calmness in your game, and as a team. And you've been there before. We've been in these big moments. We can do it. We know we can do it. And that's those are just pieces that you take with you in all the big games that you play. And once as you get older, it just becomes that much easier.
Mm. How exciting is it? We talk about 26. How exciting is it having the world stage coming to the North America, and especially in the US, and you guys obviously playing in your own backyard here?
Yeah, it's special. You know, I've heard about what that last World Cup in the U.S. did for the country, and just the buzz that was around the game and how much it grew the game at that time. And I think we're going to see it even more so in 26. I think, I mean, the U.S. definitely knows how to put on a good tournament. That's for sure. We know how to put on a good show. And all the best, obviously all the best players in the world coming from all around the world playing in a World Cup in the U.S. And Mexico and Canada. It's only gonna grow the sport, grow the league, hopefully, in the MLS especially. And I think a lot of big things are coming with the sport in America.
What's it been like for you? I know obviously you have your playing career and everything else you're doing off the field to focus on, but seeing the growth of soccer and popularity, participation in the United States, like, what's that just been like for you to see it and have a hand in kind of inspiring, the current and next generations?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. It means a lot to me. Being able to inspire that next generation is everything for me. It's part of why I do what I do. It's what pushes me every day is the kids that look up to me and just want to have that, that name where they say, what, if he can do it, I can do it. And I think a lot of people need that in their lives. I needed that when I grew up. And yeah, I mean, I truly feel blessed every day that I get to do this as a job, really, and play this game, and play in front of stadiums, and do this for a living seems it seems almost unfair at times. I just feel lucky.
No, nothing wrong with that. Though I am obviously very envious, because if I could trade in my job or switch with anybody else, it'd be a professional soccer player. So I try to live vicariously through you guys and doing stuff like this. Um, there's been a lot of obviously kind of change in U.S. soccer. Every time I look up your name, you're tied to a different club. I think today it was AC Milan. How do you kind of block all that out and just focus on, the task at hand and getting better day in and day out, on and off the field?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that, there's noise around, around my name a lot of the time. My whole career, people will talk and say what they want to say. And I think for me, yeah, it's just exactly what you said. I go into training, I keep that same routine, that same mentality, and just trying to get better every single day. And I know that, wherever I do end up, I just like to think that just putting in hard work and just the consistency of being a professional and doing what I do every single day, it's going to pay off. And there's going to be low moments ahead, and there's going to be really high moments ahead. So I feel like I'm ready for all of them.
Yeah, just taking it day by day, I'm sure. And finally, before I let you go, you mentioned the big stars coming here for 26 World Cup, and the big news this week was, Lionel Messi moving to MLS and coming to Inter Miami. I'd just love to get your thoughts on the impact that he can have and help growing the game, in North America and in the US.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure ticket prices are going up for a lot of those games, which I can see why. I'd pay a little bit extra to get into a Miami game for Messi's first game. I mean, he's a legend. For me, he's the best player we've ever seen. and to have him in our league, helping to continue to grow the sport in America, it's only going to help. So I'm really excited about it. I'm obviously, a big fan of his, and yeah, just as excited as all the other Americans are about having a guy like that come to MLS.
Yeah, you say that as the grin on my face gets wider and wider because I'm equally as excited. And I'm sure you know somebody at, MLS or Inter Miami who can help you, get some tickets, for that first match.
We'll see, man. If I got to pay, I'll do it.